Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Already Set Pop. Welcome to season two, track number four. Today, we are going to talk about a subject that we've all been waiting for to talk about because, it's Miss Britney Spears. And this topic was chosen by my friend Lucas here, who decided to talk about Britney's book, which was recently released. So I want to ask you, Lucas, why did you decide to talk about this topic?
Yeah. Hey guys. Hey Mal. Hey Mariel. Hey everyone. Well, it's impossible to make a video cast about pop music and not talk about this because Britney Spears is the central icon of everything we love. Like we mentioned before, the other girls were like similar, or the other girls try so hard not to be similar, but she was always the center of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that a lot happens behind the curtains, and it's amazing to know her story and read this book. Like it's like you are in the backstage of everything, like looking really close to everything. It's amazing, and I love the book, and I want to show to everyone the Brazilian version called A Mulher em Mim,
Mm-hmm.
which is very funny because we have like a counter song with this name that is starting to gain popularity again here in Brazil. Is a singer Roberta Miranda is like the 90s, like
Oh,
very very old song, but it's funny. But okay, and everyone in Brazil who got the book got this T-shirt, so it's very nice. Britney come to Brazil
oh,
maybe someday. I don't know.
pretty. Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, and that's it. Why not talk about this? How could us? It's impossible not
Exactly.
to.
I mean, after all that's been going on with Britney, we know that she's been through a lot in the past years. She was, in this conservatorship by her father. A
Mhm.
lot of things were said, but nothing was really clear. So it's great now that we have the book because we can now have a better understanding of what happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we have a lot to talk about today, and I hope you guys enjoy.
Yes.
So, let's start. Uh, Lucas, because you chose this topic.
Yeah.
Why don't you give us, like the beginning of this episode, the
Okay.
intro?
Well, first of all, I think from the beginning to the end, you can understand that everything that's going on right now with Britney didn't start like now or yesterday. It's like something that always happened. Uh, Her family and the people around her uh, were always like weird, let's say like this. And what gained my attention at the very beginning of the book is that she mentioned, I don't remember now if it's her grandmother or grandmother, like
Mm.
uh, that lived similar things of her. She was put in this mental hospital, and then she killed herself, and a very strong and sad story. But it was kind of prediction, I think, of how Britain would be treated in the future, like a people, like a person that who cannot speak for herself. So that was something that was kind of stuck in my mind,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
how her past reflects today. And we can understand from the very beginning that she was one more sad case of family who sees something in the child, like she's talented, she can sing, maybe she can give us money, and are not like really worried if she's happy she's doing that because it's her passion. I think it was very clear from the very beginning, and is a story that we saw happen with so many artists. They started like young, so the whole part of family for me is tragic since the
Mhm.
beginning, because she mentioned that the parents were fighting and didn't want to be together before she was born, like the things were bad before, and then she was born, and then another sister that was treated very differently. So it's very sad from the very beginning. I don't know what you guys think. I was not expecting that was that sad when she was young. I think it was kind of different, but no. What do you
I
guys
know.
think?
Mao?
Mariel,
Oh,
Mariel or
well,
Mao.
oh, well, um,
Sorry.
I'll go then. Well, I was actually shocked too because when she began her career and she made, these special videos when she came back to her home and showed around the things she did, like, oh, this is the places I used to go to, my house, my this, my that. And you could perfectly imagine that she had a great life. But when you read the book, you're like, oh my God, I didn't know her father was an alcoholic. Um, her mother was always like, somewhere else. Her brother was, getting into trouble. She was the middle sister, so she had to take care of the little one. There was a lot of problems out there. So when you think about it, it's like, oh my God, you totally imagine a different life from Britney when she was younger. And when
Yes.
she finally got the chance to move to New York to perform, in Broadway and stuff, it changed a lot for her because she was free from her dad, which I know she's not fond of. so,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure that she felt kind of free when she was in New York or recording the Mickey Mouse Club because she wasn't with her father. And then what happened? Her father took control of her, so she was always somehow afraid of her dad. What do
Yeah.
you think about
Running away.
that?
Yes.
I never feel connected to the Britney Spears story more than today. I really I feel really connected to her right now because I was like I always love her music, but not in the way like you guys. Because I know for you it's like this huge icon and idol, and for me it was not like that. But now I feel really connected to Britney Spears, and I really feel connected to her story. And it's pretty obvious that now she's receiving therapy because in therapy you have this um, information that is very important information, like the your family, like this
Hmm.
genealogical tree or something like that.
Yeah.
It's really important to understand who are you as a person. So
Hmm.
it's pretty obvious that she's receiving therapy right now, and it's relieving and it's amazing to know that. And in the other hand, talking about her beginning, like as a person and as a singer, it was a story marked by tragedy, as you said, Luquitas, from the very beginning. Her father was a monster, like an alcohol. All the time he was drunk. All the time he was like making troubles in the house. It's very sad, but we can see that it was like generation to generation to the other generation, and it's something that you can see even in, for example, in my family. I can see that because all my aunts and my uncles are divorced and my parents are divorced,
Hmm.
and this is like a story that every time is repeating the same story, my family, and all the families like are the same. So in the case of Britney, it's like the same. Her grandma or her grandma suffered this like in a very similar way, that she lived this bad experience. So yes, I think sometimes it's like the family is repeating all the time the same story, and it's very sad.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I think from the very beginning, I don't know why, but it seems like Britney's family never wanted her to be around people who understand her or like her and let her be very free. Like she mentioned the grandmother that she loved it, that they used to put makeup and listen to
Hmm.
music and sing. And the first time that her mother made an accident with the car, I think she hit the car, was not
Hmm.
like very bad, but was enough to her mother and the father do not allow her to see the woman anymore.
Hmm.
So, and when you read the book, that continued to happen forever. Like
Yes.
if she was friend with some dancer, suddenly the dancer was not there anymore. She mentioned even a woman that was making her hair, and
Yes,
telling her, "You need to rest a little. You are working too much." The next day, the woman was not
got
there.
fired. Yes.
Yeah, so this is insane, and that happened, I believe, from the very beginning because they wanted her to be like a machine.
Yeah.
You cannot know the truth. You cannot know how the world works. You just need to make money and be this machine. So it's very scary, actually.
Yes, she was
And
totally controlled.
Yes.
yes, all the time they were seeing Britney as a business, not as a person. Like it was like the family business.
Yes.
Because of course I didn't read the Jamie Lynn Spears book. Of course I didn't, but I
Yes.
know some parts. And when she referred to Britney, it's like the family business. Like
Yeah.
Hmm.
all the time they were seeing Britney as a family, as the family business. So it's very sad because for them she was not a human being. She was not a person. She was like a
Yeah.
machine to make money.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why she loved it so much to be in the Mickey Mouse Club. I heard the same by Christina because it was the first time those girls were surrounded by kids that loved music and
As much as
loved to
them.
The
act and
female.
dance.
Yeah.
Because Christina, for example, was very bullied in school for being a girl who sing it, and for Britney, she was very alone. So it's amazing, and I think it's very beautiful that Britney mentioned in the very beginning that the music was her escape. Like always, she could be in another place when she was listening to
Hmm.
music, and that's very beautiful. And I love that moment of the Mickey Mouse Club for many reasons because I think no one noticed that those people were the future of pop music. But
Yep.
somehow the stars were aligned and they were there all together. I love this for them. What do you guys think, Mal, about this era in their lives?
Yeah, it's very funny, and actually, it's incredible to see because Jessica Simpson was almost part of that too.
Yeah.
Yes, it's crazy because you see, and it's Justin Timberlake, Jesse Chasez, and Ryan Gosling that is part of the movie business right now, and Britney and Christina, of course. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yes, I think like when you are a child, when you are a kid, everything is happiness. And I imagine that like if you are part of a show like the Mickey Mouse Club that was very popular back in the 90s in the US, I imagine living this kind of life, and it's wow, it's surreal, it's amazing. And for Britney and for Christina and for all these kids was so incredible to be part of this. So I think it was the beginning of everything. So the beginning of the tragedy, but also the beginning of the magic.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you, Mariel?
Well, yes, obviously. I think when she was at the Mickey Mouse Club, even though it didn't last long because it only last like for 1 year,
Yes.
um, she felt that she was where she belonged, and she knew people that she loved to hang out with, and that she knew she had everything in common. So, and that's what made it, I know, so special for her because I believe that she didn't want it to end because that meant that she had to go back home
Yeah.
and see her family again, be with her dad, be with her sister. And it would take not so long for her to get her record deal, but still a lot of things happened in between when she returned to Louisiana, and she was still in school dating older guys. And she mentions that she was dating a friend of her brother who
Yes.
to whom she lost her virginity at 14. That
Mhm.
part really shocked me because I always assumed that she was, a virgin.
Yeah. She
What
always said that she was.
Yeah, I always assumed that, and we all thought that, oh my God, she's saving herself for marriage.
Yeah.
She's going to do a lot of things, and she's not worried about that. And when she said that at 14 she had her first thing with a guy, I was really impressed, and at the same time a little sad because when you are 14, you're still a kid. You don't know what you
Mhm.
want when you're 14 years old. And
Yeah.
she was completely, like she must have been really in love or
Hmm.
with an older guy,
Yeah.
because that happens. But and even there, she couldn't take those decisions, you know, with her foot on the ground.
Hmm.
I don't know if I'm making myself clear.
Yeah,
She was
yeah.
always there doing things that she wasn't aware that she wanted to do them, or that she wasn't really sure that she wanted to experience, but always because, oh, my mom wants me to do this, my dad wants me to do
Hmm.
that, and my boyfriend is pushing me to do this and that. So I guess she always felt pressure,
Yeah.
to do things in her life.
And
And yeah.
yeah.
Yes, for
And
sure.
besides that, I think she was always looking for someone that could be her family, because
Mhm,
every time she mentioned a guy that she dated in the book, she said, in the sentence, "I really loved him."
mhm.
Like, I think every guy that she found, for a moment, she thought like, this guy can be finally my family, finally can be my everything, and finally can have someone. I think that happened from the very beginning. But I agree with Mariel, because I was shocked when I read that part that she was 14, because it was way before Baby One More Time, like 2 years before, and she spent more years after Baby One More Time, saying that she was a virgin. I remember in 2001, when she came to Brazil in the Rock in Rio in January, they asked her, because it was very normal to ask girls
Yeah.
about those things. And she said, "Yes, I'm a virgin," once again. And she was not, like, for a very long time. But uh, in other hand, I think if she was honest, it would be way worse. Like,
Yeah.
if the very first time someone asked Britney when she was 17, "You are a virgin," she said, "No, I'm not a virgin since I was 14," that would be insanely
Yes.
bad for her, because the media was very cruel all the time, and it was other times for sure. So I think it was for the best to lie after all.
Yes, I imagine how that would be like. Oh my gosh, she was a slut since she was a small kid. She was having sex with older guys when she was only 14. So yeah,
Yeah.
I totally can imagine. The paparazzi, the media doing this kind of headlines. Britney is not a virgin because she's a slut or something like that. Because
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
because
Like,
sometimes that's how bad the media is.
yeah, they would say that she's not a good model for kids. The parents
Hmm.
would be not allowing the kids to listen, would be like very terrible, I
Yeah,
think.
I think it was a
The
good decision.
end.
Yeah.
Yes, the end of her career, I think, in that beginning.
Yes, definitely. And well, then she got her break. She was signed. She met Larry Rudolph, uh, who helped her sign with Jive Records, and that's when everything began for her. She was
Yeah.
very young when she began her career. She was only 16 when Baby One More Time was released, and the whole world of pop music changed back
Yes.
then. I don't know if you guys remember when Baby One More Time came out, but everybody was crazy about it. And she
Yes.
and she says we all knew that that song was going to be a hit. And that song was first offered to TLC, who said
Yes.
no, we don't want it, and then it was given to Britney, and boom, it happened.
Yeah. I think it's funny how everything works, like the universe works sometimes. But it was supposed to be hers for sure. And it's nice to know that she was a real artist, because people always said that she wasn't, like, she was like only a product. But a lot of things that we saw was actually from her mind, like the video of Baby One More Time, that is so iconic, like the high
Hmm.
school thing, and the clothes, and she, like, kind of boring in the school with, waiting for the end of the class. Everything was from her mind, because the label wanted her to be in the space or something.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Actually, she did. Oops, I
Yeah,
did it
on
again.
Oops. Yes.
Yes, but at first, she said, "No, I think he's going to be better." After all, she was 16, so she knew what kids and teenagers would like. And she was an artist. It was, there's no doubt about it. But bothers me that people keep saying that she was not, like she was fabricated and things like that.
What do you think, Mao, about the beginning of Britney's career?
I remember that moment in my life, and I remember it was very happy for me to see that because at the time I was 8, so 8 or 9. But when I listened to "Baby One More Time" for the very first time, and I remember that it was like an explosion, like everything changed. It's real. Everything changes for that moment in music, like in the time of music,
Yeah.
everything changed. And I think, like, after all of these years, we know that she was genuine, she was like
Mm.
real doing this. Because, as Lucas said, she was not only another this kind of singer that is like a formula, like you have to do this and you have to do that, and
She
a lot
became
of
the formula,
ideas.
actually.
Yeah,
Sorry, Frank?
She became the
she became
formula
the
after.
formula for a lot of
Yes, yes,
singers.
she was. Yes, I think she was like the model of the formula, like the first.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's great that she gave these ideas and even the voice thing, because all of this time I was thinking that the voice, like this kind of baby voice, but at the time it was raspy, was an idea of the producers, or I don't know. But when she mentioned this on the book, it's like I wanted to sound in that way. So
Hmm.
Yeah.
it's crazy, and it's good to know, and it's
Yeah,
very good to know because she
Yeah.
wanted to sound like very this
Soulful.
raspy voice, but very mature.
yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
She
it's
wanted to
it's
have her own imprint,
yeah,
in her song.
yeah. So it's
And
amazing to
she
know
she
that
did for
because
sure.
it was her idea. So I think it's great, and yes, as I mentioned, she was the beginning of the formula. She was like the real, like the original doll. It's
Yeah.
real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's crazy how fast things happen because she released it in the US in September of 1998. In January, she was already number one in the singles and the albums charts at the same time. And she sold like a lot more than the other girls that was similar in the first album. The second one, breaking records and touring. It was not very, it's still not very normal to a new artist to be
No.
headliner in the tours. Like, and she was basically from the very beginning. So she became the number one for sure. Like she said, I was not good, I was great, and she
Yeah.
was.
And
Yeah.
everything happened really fast for her. And I think that it all came to her like, a big splash of water because she was having a very sad life with her family. And all of a sudden, she is solving all of the troubles for them.
Mm.
She bought them a house, she paid the bills, she was giving them cars, things, this and that and that. So all of a sudden, she became, like the main person in her family when she was only 18. At 18, she was already one of the biggest stars in the world. So
Yeah.
Yes.
that must be very, you know, surprising at that age because you're not mature enough. You're
No.
still so young. You don't know what to do. You're still, being uh, ordered by others about what to do, how to dress, what to say,
Yeah.
what to do, and she felt all that weight in her back. So I now understand her so much. She felt so much weight when she
Yeah.
was only 18. She had all the power to do a lot of things, but at the same time she was, like kept.
And the media never treat her like a teenager, in my opinion. Like the only time they treat her like a teenager were to be rude, like saying she's only 17, she's wearing that clothes, or like she's naked or anything. But after all, it's weird for me to perceive her as a teenager. It was back then because I was younger, but
Mhm.
now that I'm older, for example, I was watching Jess McCartney DVD last week, and now that I'm 33, he looked so child for me, you know. I was watching the DVD and was looking for him and saying, oh my god, he was so young. I could not perceive that back then. But for
Oh,
Britney, even now when I watch her, I can perceive that she was 17, 18, because I believe the reason is because why media treat her like a woman all the time, like asking her to be this, to be that, and never to do anything wrong, like you gotta be a woman, and
Hmm.
basically she was a kid. So it's very weird.
Yeah.
yeah,
Sometimes they treat them like they were adults, media, and then, but when you think about yourself when you were 18, you were like, I
Yeah,
was an idiot, I was
of
only in
course.
high school. I was, leaving high school, going to, starting, college, and then, uh, well, us as, not celebrities, for us, you think of yourself and you're like, yeah, I was an idiot at
Yeah,
18. So,
yeah,
and for her, it all came like so quickly. Like, okay,
yeah,
now you're selling millions of records. You are going to do this. You're going to do that. You're going to travel the world. But at the same time, she felt so much weight on her back
yeah.
because she had
I,
to
I
take care of her
only
whole family.
yeah, I only learned about money when I was 20 years old because I started to work, and at age
Hmm.
16 she was the one putting food in everyone's table. So it's crazy. What do you
something
think
that
about?
told. Sorry, friend.
No, I'm asking your opinion actually.
Okay, okay, okay. Something that caught my attention was like at in during all her career, she never felt like this huge artist. You know, I think she described
Mhm.
herself very in a very humble way. Like she
Yeah,
never mentioned like I was like the best of the business. Like of course she mentioned like in this moment I was like the number one or the stuff like that, but not like I believe like I believe myself like I'm the huge star in the world, and she was the huge star in the world in that moment.
yes.
So I really love that that part when she described herself. It's very humble. She's very humble to describe it because for example, when she said like I was in the malls doing my promotion of my album, like when she was preparing to release Baby One More Time, and she was like I was singing in the malls like in a very humble way, you know,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
then I had the opportunity to go to Sweden. It's Sweden, right?
Yeah,
She
yes.
With
recorded the album in
Recorded,
Sweden.
yes.
yeah,
Hmm.
with Max Martin, and that's the way she described these moments is like, oh my God, you are talking about epic moments of music, you know,
Yeah,
and she,
yeah.
in a very humble way. It's crazy.
I agree, but at the same time, I think this is part of the problem. Like she never saw herself as the powerful woman that she is. Like she mentioned, I wish I could sing like Christina. She said that before, like live, and I wish I could be very powerful like Jennifer Lopez in the way she presents herself. I wish I could be sweet and strong like Reese. She mentioned the book. Like she's
Yeah.
always looking to that those women, sorry, but in a way that for her she could never be like that. Is like it's not inspirations are, I don't know, for her it's impossible to imagine herself being like that. So it's very sad actually.
Yes,
Yeah,
she mentioned in several moments of her book that she felt insecure a lot of times.
Yeah,
And I think, and I speak for myself, we young girls were looking for her like a role model. So I wanted to be like Britney. I totally remember that. So she wanted to be like others, and at the same time a lot of girls wanted to be like her. So
yes.
it's
yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
At
And
least
then,
in
yeah.
the stage she was
Yeah,
like,
definitely. And then what do you guys think about what happened with Justin Timberlake?
yeah.
Because we, for what I know, for what I read, uh she was truly, truly in love with Justin Timberlake.
Hmm.
He was, if I'm not wrong, the love of her life for the way she speaks about him.
Yeah,
But a lot of things happened between those two. He cheated on her. She had the abortion, which is now something that we didn't know until now that she released the book. What did you guys think of that, Mao?
Oh my God. I never, I never liked Justin Timberlake. Like as a person, I never liked him. And now I know why I didn't like this man because, for example, with the Janet Jackson thing, now we know more about the Britney story. It's very sad, but at the same time, I want to be fair and maybe I'm not saying, I don't want to justify him, like, but he was young and he was dumb and he was silly. I think that he was a young, handsome, very handsome man and a star. And but the way she treated Britney at the time, it was trash. It was very bad. Like the abortion thing was very sad and
Hmm.
cruel and horrible, and at the same time, it was ridiculous from him to start singing in that moment that Britney was suffering so much.
Yes.
Like I consider this man a jerk. Sorry, but at the same time, maybe I want to think that he was very young to understand what was happening. So as I said, I don't want to justify him in any way, but I think it was the reason. In the other hand, Britney was always, and I think she's still looking for this kind of true love and stuff like that, and it's very sad because I think she never found that in any man. And this kind of man, this kind of men she dated, Kevin Federline, Justin Timberlake, these kind of men are very similar, like very selfish men, very like this kind of men that are not good. So yes, I think she was very in love, but she was naive at the same time. She was very naive, so it's very sad.
Yeah. Yeah. She if before you go, Lucas, uh, and you mentioned this, she was always looking for a family
Yeah.
because her family, her own family, her parents, her brother and sister, didn't give her, like that stability that she wanted,
Hmm.
and she thought that she could get it with every man she met.
Yes.
And so when
But
she got pregnant, probably she thought, oh my God, this is going to be great because we're going to be finally a family. But guess
yes,
what? I don't want you to have it. So for her, it must have been very devastating.
and
Yeah.
actually, there is a part that she mentioned that the Justin Timberlake's grandparents love her,
Yeah.
and she loved them too. So
Yeah.
yes, this is like a signal. Like she was looking for a family all the time. Like I want
Hmm.
to fit
Yeah.
in this family. I want to have this family because my family is uh, uh, a very dysfunctional family.
Yeah.
Crazy. What do you think, Lucas?
I think Justin is basically the reflection of the times. Some people now can say that uh, people overreact with things like, oh, we cannot say anything those days, everything is wrong. But is a pure example that back then we didn't realize the sexism and things like that. It was very normal
Hmm.
for us to see Justin doing things like he did, like singing Crimea River, and we actually enjoyed that, like saying, "Oh, he's talking about Britney." The music
Yeah.
video is so cool. The song is amazing. All the jokes he did about Britney back then, it was like he's a bad boy. It was very normal. We were watching those things in media all the time. So now I think we came to a point where we can see things in a different way. So now looks very wrong.
Hmm.
And as Mao said, I'm not like justified Justin Timberlake,
That's
but I
right.
think he, of course, lived in an environment that made he think like you are the guy, you are the king, you can do anything, no, you cannot be a father now. There's a lot of girls who want to. You can dub her. It's fine. She's Britney, but you are Justin. You know. I
Mm-hmm.
think
Mm-hmm.
that was the reality, and it was very normal. Unfortunately, back then, I feel very sad for her because I believe she truly loved uh, him. I believe at first he really loved her too, but at some point, maybe for him or for the family, it was only I think that makes sense. You know, the Prince of Pop to be with the princess,
Mm-hmm.
and now that you are going solo, you can be the bad guy. I don't know. So maybe she was just used, but I think it's a reflection of the times. Thanks God, now we can realize those things.
Yeah, like I told you, they were only in their early 20s.
Yes.
So back then, you don't know what you want. And when a guy like Justin was so young and got so much attention by the media, he had a lot of fans. He was in the hottest group of that time, which was NSYNC.
Yeah. He
He
was
was like,
white.
yeah, he was like, you know what? I'm the best. He must
Yeah.
have thought, you know what? I'm here. I don't know. I don't have to attach myself to no one now with a kid. So he only thought about himself. He never really cared about what Britney wanted. So if you want the baby, I don't want it. So I'm not going to take care of it. So please, get rid of it, which is really cruel because usually men in those kind of situations never put in the woman's shoes. They only
Yeah.
Yes.
think about themselves. So I think he was really selfish from him to do it. And if Britney really wanted the baby, I mean, she had the money, to keep it, to keep the baby, to
Mhm.
to move on. But she definitely wanted a family. That's what she
Yeah.
always has had wanted, and we have seen that throughout her whole life. Because after Justin, uh, came Kevin
Yeah.
Federline, who, my God, I don't know what she saw in
Ugh.
him, but
Yes.
I'm still wondering what she saw in that guy, and she's still okay. I'm going. This one is going to be. It's like a shoe that doesn't fit, but you want it to fit. This one is going to be the one, and then
Mm-hmm.
you realize it's not for you, and that's what happened with Kevin too,
Yes.
right?
And
Yes.
I think
Totally.
and I think all the time Britney tried to please people around her.
Mhm.
And when I was reading the book, I feel very connected to that part too, because sometimes I feel that way. Like you want to please anybody around her, everybody around you. And it's like I want to do this because I want to please my dad or my mom or my partner, I don't know, my couple. And I think it was one of the reasons that she decided to get rid of the baby, to make the abortion, because I want to please Justin, and I agree
Yeah.
with that. Uh, uh, because she wanted, as you mentioned, Mariel, she wanted to have the baby, but it was more important to please Justin. So
Yeah.
it is very
But
sad.
if it wasn't Justin, would be the manager. If it wasn't the manager, the guy who owns the record label, someone
Yeah,
would be
or
against.
her mom or
Somebody
her
always
dad.
took control of Britney. Somebody.
Yes.
Yes,
She was never able to make decisions of her own.
Yeah,
yes.
I want to say one thing. I was talking with Mao one of those days about this book, and he asked me, "Who do you think is the woman that Britney said that Justin is left with, and now she cannot mention because there's kids and is married?" And I was thinking about a few names that would be, but actually today I was talking with a friend of mine that is really fan of Britney Spears, and he told me that the fans uh, was looking to photos and news, and is one of the girls of All Saints. I don't remember the name.
But yes, and Britney mentioned that he cheated on her with one of the girls of All Saints and with another girl that is now married, but she doesn't mention who.
Ah, okay.
So she mentions two, the girl of All Saints
I
and
think the other one must be Emma Bunton.
you think so? Oh,
Yeah, because when you put on Google Emma Bunton and Justin Timberlake, there's a lot of gossips about that in the UK media, and there's
hmm,
pictures of them together, and there's one picture that the All Saints girl is with them. too. And he Justin said once that he is, I don't know if he said that he slept, but I think he hooked up with a spicy girl. So
Well, I wouldn't be
and
surprised.
yes, and
What
Emma is married with kids, and I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
what what do you think, me, Mariel? Because I have my option.
I know. Um, I don't know. If it was someone from the US, I have no idea who could have been because
Because she mentioned is still relevant nowadays. It's popular nowadays.
I have
Mhm.
no idea.
Cameron
I
Diaz. He dated Cameron
They
Diaz.
they dated Cameron Diaz,
Yes, yes.
but she was older, so I don't know.
I know that it would sound crazy, but I told Luquitas that for me it's Beyonce. Beyonce is married with kids, and Beyonce is very relevant and popular right now.
Yeah.
So why not
Yeah,
Beyonce?
But
it could
I
be.
just I have my doubts about this because Britney always loved Beyonce so much.
Yeah, must be
She
someone
always
that she
praised
doesn't
her.
talk to. Yeah.
Yes.
Or even Christina.
Yeah. But I think
Maybe.
if it was Christina, she would say it.
Yes.
Yes.
I think
I
so.
agree. I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but well, and then when she said that she broke up with Justin, she mentions that she was in like in a constant low, that she was always
Yeah.
sad, that she was like trying to move on with her life, but she always had him on her mind. And then she dated Colin Farrell for a few moments
Yeah.
there, which was
Like
great
her.
because he
Yeah.
was better. But anyway, you never know what happens.
Yeah.
And then she met Kevin Federline, who was, like a big stone in her career. Because
Yeah.
that guy treated her
Uh,
horribly for what she mentions in her book. He was always ignoring her. He never cared about what she wanted. He stopped talking to her for days. So, and she was, like drooling for this man because she was really in love with him. But and she was, so busy with the kids, and he only cared about, smoking
yeah.
pot and
And
recording
trying to be a rapper. Yes.
his stupid music, which was
Yeah.
always so bad. So Britney was also his cover for him because if I'm not married to Britney, then who would help me? So if he was doing something, it was because of Britney, not because he was talented. You know?
Wait a minute. I gotta charge my phone, but
Okay.
it's just 1 second. You guys can keep talking. I'm here. I'm right here.
Okay.
And I'm back.
Okay. So, what do you think, Mao, about her relationship with Kevin, and how do you think it affected her career? Because we know she came through a rough time when she was finally over Kevin, and she had this situation with the umbrella, and she cut her hair. What do you think of all the situation?
I think it was the beginning of the mess of the horrible times for Britney because she was like choosing her men really bad, like first Justin, then this man Kevin Federline that is like a total asshole too. Sorry, but I think it's great because she always wanted to be a mom. So with him, she had the possibility to become a mom. So it was good for her, and I was so impressed the way she described her kids. Because she described like my favorite time was like taking a nap with my kids, and that's incredible because with this man she had the opportunity to have a family, but at the same time it was really really bad for her image and for her career, and I think this man used her in
Yeah.
every way. Like he was not in love with her. She only wanted to become famous and to have fame and to record that lame rap that he made at that time because he's not even good as a rapper. So there is a part that is very funny that I know a guy that is from the south of US, and they have this word that is bless his heart, or it's to say like, oh, poor guy.
Oh,
And there is
okay.
a part, yes, and I didn't know about that. When you read that, for example, I was reading the book in English, and when you hear that, it's like, bless your heart, okay. But this is like a joke, like from the South. Like when you said, oh, bless your heart, or bless his heart, it's like a joke, like, oh, poor man,
Mm-hmm.
or
Okay.
poor
Mm-hmm.
girl.
It's
So
like
there is a
ironic.
part, and
He's
that is
like,
very
yeah,
funny.
yeah, but
There is, the, yeah,
he's
there is a part.
he saw an opportunity and he took it. He said,
Yeah,
"Oh, this is the most famous woman in the world. I'm gonna take a chance with this one, and I'm gonna
Yes.
do whatever I want as long as she keeps, doing her thing, and she leaves me do my own thing. But to love her, I don't think that ever happened."
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with that.
Lucas.
I think it was like a combo of things. Like she was very tired of people telling her what to do in the end of 2004, and like people uh, saying that she was bad, what she did with Justin was really bad, she was a bitch, and things like that. That I think at some point she found this terrible person, Kevin. And if you look, like he was part of some music videos, like as a dancer. One of
Mm,
them is "Get the Party Started" by Pink. If you pay attention, you can see him. And
I
back
didn't
then,
know.
he
Mm,
looked a little like Justin Timberlake, like the
Oh,
style. I think he tried to look like. So maybe that's one thing that she was not over Justin yet.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
um, Other thing, people was telling her, "Don't be with this guy. He's not good for you." And she was tired of people telling her. So I think she was like, "I'm going to prove that I can be with him, that he likes me. I'm going to do this anyway." And I think she was like, "Since everyone is telling me that I'm bad, I'm going to be bad. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
be with this guy that is not that good." So I think it was basically that. But I think this was the very first time that she was screaming for help, because she was trying to make her music. That was the time that she did that thing with Mona Lisa, the track that she
Mm-hmm.
recorded with her band without the permission of the label. She showed up in the radio barefoot, like she was not wearing anything in her feet, to show the track. They played the track on the radio, like she was very rebellion herself,
Yes.
as she said in the song "Rebellion" that I really love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think she was trying to break all those chains, but once again was not possible, and Kevin was not helpful for that, for sure.
Oh no, no, definitely. And then
no, no, no.
that the thing when she cut all her hair and hit the
Yes.
car with the umbrella, and when she was really bad, and that's when everything began to fade for her, because from that moment on, her father is started taking control of her career,
Yes.
and well, Kevin took the kids away from her. She no longer had her kids, whom she loved, because we know she was totally in love with her children. And
Yeah.
for her, that must have been very depressing. I mean, I know what it is to have kids. So to imagine yourself without them as a mother, it's super difficult. Like, oh my God, I understand what she must have felt. And she was away from her kids. She was in control. She wasn't in control of her own life. Her dad was taking control of everything. And she said that in the book. My dad told me I am freaking Britney Spears right now, you know?
Yeah, that was
So
really creepy.
that was really cruel.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
want, I want to, I want to, I want to talk more about this moment in Britney's life that was like the when she cut her hair and when she was with this umbrella. And right now we understand the reason why she did that in the past, because at that time, and it's very sad for me, for example, even when I'm not a huge fan, at that time I was thinking that, oh, this woman is crazy, like, oh, she's drunk or she's
Yeah.
high or something like
Hmm.
that. But now we understand that she was desperate because the her kids were taken away from her.
Hmm.
They couldn't see her kids, so it was a very desperate moment for her. So now this part of this book, that when she said, like, a friend of mine told me that, you only cut your hair and take an umbrella to hit a car. I I don't know. I put fire on the whole town. If
Yeah.
if 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 some person take my kids away from me. So now we understand that. Like, we understand that she wasn't crazy. She was
Yeah.
desperate.
Yes.
Yes, I love this part of the book because it shows a lot that we were stuck in the sexism too. Because I think the most shocking thing for us was not to see her pretty,
Hmm.
with the blonde hair and everything. And actually, she said that that moment was kind of spiritual for her, to
Mhm.
shave, to say, I'm a person, I'm not only a doll for you to play, and things like that. And the umbrella thing, I think any one of us will do the same. Like,
Yes.
you need privacy, the guy is
Yeah,
pushing,
leave me
and
alone. Yeah.
I would do worse.
Especially with the press being behind you the whole time, like, leave me alone, let me
Yes.
breathe, and all the time, we know how the paparazzi can be, and they can be very, obsessive with celebrities, like,
Yeah.
you have to tell me what is going on, and they don't care
Mhm.
if you're doing great, if you're sad, if you're going through something. They just
Yeah.
want to get the information to get paid, and
Yeah.
and that's
And
it.
back then was a lot of money for the
Yeah.
pictures.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
think it is about, sorry, Ma, I think it's about perspective. Because if Miley Cyrus would do the same, people will be like, whoa,
Yeah.
she's so radical. Like, she has no hair now, she's like being a badass, but sometimes media chose artists to be like the Christ, let's say like this. And it's terrible because they destroy lives. Like, Britney is alive, thanks God, but Amy Winehouse, for example, is not. And they were like shit with this girl too.
Hmm.
So that annoys me a lot.
Yes, she was taken for crazy, This woman
Yeah.
is crazy, and that's it. We don't know what's behind. And now that
Yeah.
she spoke finally about it, you can obviously tell what was going on in her mind. What was she going? What she was going through, and obviously her anger, her sadness, everything was, mixed in that moment, and that's why she acted like that. But not because she was crazy, because she was high,
Yeah.
because she was drunk. It was all different from what we imagined. So we should never judge a book by its cover. That's for sure. And well, now, what do you guys think about the conservatorship? Because for what I read, I was completely shocked when I read everything that was put into her house. She was being watched 24 hours. She wasn't allowed to stay up late. She had to do what the others told her to do. She wasn't allowed to be herself anymore. What do you guys think about this, Lucas?
I think it was like a nightmare that I cannot imagine anyone living under those circumstances. Is scary to
Mhm.
think. Because I think the most sad thing is that she was thinking, if I behave well, they will see that I'm doing great and help me be free again. And that was not the case at
No.
all. And she took so many years in that way that I can only say that she was super brave and strong. Because we know that she's not okay now, but I think she could be way worse. I think she could be not alive, to be honest. Because she was so desperate so many times, and shocks me in the same way that she mentioned in the book, how someone like your father, your mother, your sister, that should be someone listen what you need, supporting you, being the one who hug you and said everything is going to be fine, could be the same people who put you in that position.
Yes.
And it is insane how they made this girl work through all the time. Like, you cannot think, you cannot speak, you are not able to be a person, but you can work. How that happened? How it took so long to someone do something? Thanks for the fans, because they are the reason why the conversation started. But
Hmm.
it's insane. I think it's something that she will never really recover of. It's very
Especially
sad.
because it was her family.
Yeah.
She was taken by her own family instead of having, the support that she needed. They
Yeah.
were all like, "Oh no, you know what? We're gonna keep you so you can keep supporting us, but we don't
Yes.
care if you feel fine. We don't care if you're sad or angry or whatever. We only care to keep receiving our money, and you have to shut up, and that's
There's no
it."
way. There's nowhere to run. I love
Hmm.
when she mentioned the little sister and she said the little bitch.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's amazing. Yes, that little bitch. Since she was a kid, she said that she acted like a little bit.
I always
Uh,
knew that.
yeah, she's
You could
terrible
always
for it.
tell that
Yeah.
about her sister. What did you think, Mao? Especially, I'm going to ask you, Mao. She mentions that her mother released a book and that she even used it to promote Britney's madness. What
Mhm.
do you think about that? I was like so shocked to see that your own mother doing that to you. I mean, what do you think?
I think this is a crime. I can imagine, for example, I have, thank God, I have two loving parents, and I can imagine, for example, I'm throwing a difficult moment in my life, and my mom writing a book about my life and to take advantage of it. I can imagine that. So it's my mom. So I think it's a crime, and all like Jamie Lynn and her mother were all the time trying to get advantage of this Britney situation, because in that moment, her mother, who cares to read about this woman's life? Nobody. So it's
Nobody.
like it's crazy. This woman writing a memoir or something like that to describe what. So you are
Only to
taking
get
advantage.
paid.
Yes,
Mhm.
of course.
Oh God.
Only to take advantage of your daughter's situation. It is very sad and it's a crime. And it's the same case with Jamie Lynn. You are writing a book and it's crazy. It's disgusting. It's gross. I think it's the worst thing. So yes, I think her mother is also disgusting, and the way her mother manipulated her in many ways. So because I remember this moment in the book when her mother was calling her like, we need you to come here, and it was like a way to catch
Correct.
her,
Yes.
and yes, and to trap her. So it was very disgusting. It was very sad too. So I can imagine my mother doing something like that to me. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It
And
was only to get attention and money.
yeah.
Of
And the
course, for
part the
sure.
part she said that after all that happened, she still wanted to see them, and she called and said, "I need you to see you guys." In the mom was like, "I'm busy." Like,
Yeah, she was
never
never
return.
listened.
Yeah, but
Mm-mm.
I think it's good the part that she went to, I think, Louisiana for for the
Christmas.
family's house, and she realized that she was not happy and she was not interested in see them anymore. Like, I don't need these people anymore. So that must
Anymore.
be like, you know. But I gotta say something here in Brazil. Jamie Lynn is known as Marquito. So you guys should check Google to see Marquito. Is a guy like, there's a really trash television show here in Brazil that is Ratinho, the TV host. He is really bad. Like he do paternal tests live to see if the guy
Oh,
is is the father
the
of the
father.
kid, and people fighting is terrible. And there's this old man called Marquito. He's like this, but he has a long hair and he looks like her. So here in Brazil, the fans of Britney call Jamie Lee Marquito.
Okay.
I have to see Marquito
We
right
have
now.
to look up for him, for
Yes, you
Marquito.
guys should.
That's crazy. No, well, the family was a mess. I mean, poor Britney, because for whatever she turned, it was trouble for her. My
Yes.
mom is crazy, my dad's crazy, my sister's crazy, my brother is not even talking to me.
Yeah.
So, and I need to, and I have to keep supporting them because they are complete
Yeah.
idiots that cannot, support
Yeah.
themselves by their
And
own.
the kids in the middle of all these,
Yeah, the poor
Mm.
I think
kids.
sometimes they are so confused. I saw a few years ago posts of one of the kids like saying she didn't want to see Britney. Like this is so heartbreaking.
Yeah, yeah, being poor woman, because when you first read the book, the first thing she says is, "This book is dedicated to my sons."
Yes.
She has
Yeah,
always thought about them, and they haven't been there for her. So her whole family history is so sad. And
Yeah.
well, she mentions two more relationships. This Jason
Mhm.
guy,
Yeah.
who was a manager or something. He was some
Yes.
kind of PR something, and then another guy from Vegas, I think,
There
and
was the paparazzi.
the paparazzi, yeah, and
Yes.
then the actual, well, the
Yeah.
ex-husband now, Sam
Yes.
Ashgari. So she has been through a lot of relationships, but none of them had been what she wanted.
yeah,
Yes.
which aspect.
Yeah,
Yes. I
and
don't
what
know how I feel about this Sam guy. I
I
always had
never
my
liked him.
doubts. Yes, because once again, I had the feeling that he was trying to become famous. Uh, and I don't know, because he was always where TMZ
Hmm.
was. He was there, and TMZ is like really trashy with Britney, so it's kind of confusing. I don't know if I believe him. But now he's saying that he really loved her and she's damaged, and it's very hard to have a relationship with her because he wanted her with him in the events, and the things he was doing, she was never there. But I don't know, it's very confusing.
Oh yeah, poor Britney. I really feel sorry for all that she's been through.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad that she's now away from that toxic family of her. I don't know if she ever imagined that that song would have actually take some
Yeah.
some place with her family. Like, my family is completely
Yeah.
toxic.
Toxic.
And a lot of songs actually, because when she mentioned like when I sung Overprotected back in the day, I didn't know what is to be overprotected.
Yeah.
To be,
And
so
Lucky was like
it
a
was very
prediction.
interesting to read. Yes,
I also feel, like, really attracted to that part when she was in Vegas, saying that her show lasted for years. I remember going to Vegas. I wanted to go see her, but I was like, should I go see her? Because I know she doesn't look happy, and she mentions that. I wasn't happy because they made me sing the same songs, the same choreographies. They didn't allow me to change, a little bit from the show. Everything had to be the way they wanted, but not
Yeah.
how she wanted. And so that's why I decided not to go, because I thought that this is going to be, like listening to her albums, because she wasn't singing live. She looked so tired, like doing, the same
Yeah.
choreography. And now that she talks about it, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Why
Yeah.
she looked all the same, so robotic in her whole concerts.
Yeah. She was doing the less
actually,
she could.
actually, for me in the X Factor, she looked like a robot all the time, and now I understand why. because when I used to watch X Factor with my sister, we were like this Britney attitude is it's like it's disgusting all the time. She's like a robot, all the time.
It
Like
was hard
it's
to
not
watch.
her. And yes, yes, and for us it was annoying. Like why is she doing that? But now I understand why she acted like a robot in that moment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she always looked robotic.
yeah,
Yes.
and she was suffering with so many things. And I remember when the crowd in X Factor were clapping and screaming, she was always like that, uh, because she could stand the noise. So she was not fine, and people pushing her to work, like, you gotta be there, you gotta be there. And now I think it was very smart of her to be very robotic and doing the least she could. Like,
Yeah,
it was her way to try to fight against.
like she didn't care. Hmm.
Yeah, like
Yes.
that day in Vegas that she was supposed to perform and talk about the residents, and she just
Left.
said
Yeah.
Yes.
bye. That is so cool. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Like
that
a
part.
robot.
He was totally, like finally had the courage to do something and said,
Yes.
I'm done. I don't want
Yeah.
to do this anymore. So do whatever you want. Bye. And that's
Yeah.
why she left. But then her father took advantage of that and sent her to, mental care for
Yeah.
months because that
This
man said,
part
I'm
is
not going to
terrible.
lose my money. And
Yeah.
they were only thinking about the cash, and
Yeah.
we don't care if she's okay or not. We only care about getting paid.
Yeah. And I love how she loves normal people because she made friends in this place. She was saying like some girls were really crazy, but I love them. I love to talk and be there with them.
Hmm.
So yeah, she's sweet.
Yeah, she's a strong woman, and she
Yes.
has been through a lot. Let's hope that she gets better and that she finds the
Yeah.
peace that she needs because she's definitely a fighter for
How you
sure.
guys
I really,
felt in the part that she discovered the free Britney movement in the book? Because I cried in
Oh
that part.
yes.
Mao, what do you think about this part?
I love that part, and I love this part when she says, "If you were supporting me in this moment that it was not possible for me, thank you from the bottom of my heart." It was very, very
It was
a
touching.
very strong
Yes.
part for me too. Yes, even when I'm not a huge fan, like I never support her, but I feel connected with that part too. I was like, oh my god, she care about her fans. And actually, I was thinking, for example, when Mariel interviewed these girls from this moment that met Britney, in that moment, for example, the girl from I5 and Tonja, all these people talk good things about Britney.
Yeah.
All they,
Yeah.
yes, they say all the time, she was sweet, she was a doll, she was very sweet, very nice, and
Very
it's true.
adorable.
She's a nice girl. She's a
Yeah.
nice woman. She's a nice human being.
Yeah, and,
Yes.
and and it's really sad that people, you know, took advantage of that. She's so innocent
Mhm.
and she's so dumb, you know,
Like
that we
naive, yes,
like naive,
very
yeah, that
naive.
we can
Yeah.
do whatever we want and she's not gonna care. But all of a sudden she's exploded and she was like, "That's it, no more, not enough." So I
Mm.
had enough, and um, no more, no more cute girl.
Yeah.
No more.
Yeah. And I was very happy reading this part because back then, when the movement started, uh, I was always thinking, what she thinks about this? Is she happy? Is she mad that people are doing this? Because everything was so blurry. She was not allowed to be in Instagram like she does now, and everything was posted by the people controlling her. So we didn't know actually how she felt. So when I read this part, I closed the book and cried a little because it was
Oh.
like, oh, this must be so beautiful for her
Emotional
to
part.
realize people were fighting for her. I think it was definitely special.
And to finally be able to open, to the world, because
Yeah,
obviously when she was in the conservatorship she was not going to be allowed to release a book. I
yeah,
mean,
Yes.
her father would have never allowed that to happen. So
never.
now that she had the chance to do so, she must have felt really liberated. Like
Yeah,
saying, "I'm finally able to tell my story, and not through my mother's book or through my
mhm,
sister's book that they only want to tell what they feel like it's needed
yeah,
to be told." So um, now I really glad to have read this book and find more about Britney, and to not judge her, because well, that was only a bit of what she told us, but
yeah,
probably her life must have been much tougher than from what we can read in the book.
Yeah.
yeah. And that kind of changed the way I'm looking at her in
Yeah,
Instagram
yeah,
because, yeah, it was kind of sad to see the Instagram. Mariel mentioned this once that um, she felt the same. Mauricio said that he was not looking to her Instagram anymore because of that. But I think now she's just like, you know, I have this new dress I want to show you. I don't know.
yeah,
I really feel like she's not 100% well,
yeah,
but just to be able to talk and to be her, and I think it's amazing, and I hope it only gets better for her.
Mhm.
Is all that I wish. Yes.
yeah. Mal,
Yes, I want to mention too the good and positive influence on her by Madonna,
Oh yeah.
because it was an important part of the book. And when she mentioned Madonna, she said like when Madonna was in the room, like I knew that the room was like made for Madonna, like she was taking over the place. And this
Yeah.
is the kind of a strong woman, for example, in the case of Madonna. Now as an adult, I can see I never was a fan of Madonna either. But now I can see the how how I don't know how to describe it. But like when trans, I don't know what is the word in English, like
Speaking
trans.
in Spanish,
Yeah, transgresora,
transgresora. Sí.
transgresora. I don't know, transblazer, but well, but
Yeah.
Madonna was very transgresora
Yeah.
in that moment in time when all the people were judging her because she was very open, talking about sex and talking about like, and she all the time was saying like Prince could do it, or Michael Jackson, or
Yeah.
any guy,
It's like
but when it's
progressist,
about
I think.
me, yes, when it's about me, it's not correct. And now I understand more why this kind of women are very judged. Like in this, for example, J Lo too. When when J Lo get married, it's like, oh, she's a slut. Another husband. But
yeah,
when you see that, and when it's about a man, it's not the same.
Yeah.
So I admire so much these kind of women like J-Lo or Madonna that have this this kind of influential part in the case of on these lives, like for example, in Britney's, it's incredible.
Yeah. I think
definitely.
I think Madonna was always try at least to be around Britney
Yeah,
after these whole circles ended. She was there in Britney's wedding, so I think she really cares about Britney. There's the part where she said Madonna went to her apartment. I think,
yeah,
I
Mm-hmm.
think it's very good because I think all the time Madonna tried to be this guide to Britney, like because she knew was not easy. But I think Britney always had that inside of her because there's an interview by her in 1999. I remember very well because she was wearing some weird uh, glasses,
Oh
like
yeah.
you
Mm-hmm.
know, with the hair like this, and
Yeah.
people were saying like, why you are not wearing clothes, like you are almost naked, then you are super young, and she said already in 1999, people are not talking about the Backstreet Boys, like quit playing games video, they were naked. Why me?
Hmm.
Why that's different? So she always had that Madonna side inside of her. I think that's really nice.
She mentions a lot of celebrities that changed her mind and that have helped her, including Mariah that she admires so much,
Yeah,
and Paris Hilton.
yeah.
Um,
I
I
think Paris
admire
is a real friend.
I
Yes.
admire Paris a lot because I'm reading her memoir right now, and she has also been through a lot of things in a very different way than Britney, because Britney grew up, in a small environment, in a small town, not so much money, and Paris grew up rich. So you can tell a whole difference there. And even though with all that money, Paris was still going through a lot of things. And I think that's why they clicked so
Yeah.
much and became good friends. But Paris was not a bad influence to Britney.
No.
For sure, she wasn't. And if you read that part of the book, we just had fun. We weren't doing
Yeah.
anything wrong. But people said that they were high, that they were drugged, or that whatever. So people
Yeah.
can say everything, but you never know what's going on in real life.
Yeah. She
I
said that crazy night with Lindsay Lohan in Paris was not that wild.
No.
I remember watching this on the news in that moment in 2006, 2007, and it was like, oh my God, these three women are crazy, and this night is wild, and they are in drugs, and it was like a normal thing that every young
Yeah.
people do, like going
Yeah.
and party and have drinks and get drunk, but in a very light way. It was not
Yeah.
like that. Like, oh my God, they are doing something like a scene or something like that. It was not like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Is
But since Britney was so, like always seen as the good girl, it was like, why is she hanging out with Paris Hilton, who is always at parties and, drinking and stuff? So,
And Lindsay Lohan, yes, yes, and it
yes.
was they were just having fun.
yeah.
Yes. But it is again media trying to create the bad girls. Every single day I see online some post praising Hillary Duff for not became crazy. You know,
Oh, yeah.
like she was the one, and Hillary said a lot of times, I was the one who was lucky enough to be not catched. Nobody saw me in the clubs, nobody saw what I did, but I was not a saint, and those girls were not bad. We all had
No,
fun as young,
Hmm.
and I just had the lucky that no one saw me, so that's it.
Yeah, but people take it all the wrong way, especially when
yeah,
it comes to celebrities, because we three can hang out and have the same fun, and no one was going to tell us anything. But
yeah,
because we're not famous. But if you see a famous person, oh my gosh, she's under the influence of alcohol. She's
Yeah.
drunk. You always take it the wrong way,
But I think
yeah.
it's
unfortunately.
beyond that. I think it's with women. Because if the three of us go to
Hmm.
a club, in the next day, people would be talking about you, Mariel. Like,
Yeah,
she's a mother. What the
She's
hell
she's
she's doing in the
married. Yeah,
club?
she has a
The
husband.
kid
Yeah,
is in the house and she's partying.
yeah.
So,
Unfortunately, always the
yeah.
woman is the one that gets judged. And you
Yes.
see,
yes.
and Britney says that in her book. I was the mean girl when I ended up my relationship with Justin, and Justin was seen as a victim.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's crazy how people sees things, but
Yeah.
you never get to experience it somehow. Anyway,
Yeah.
so
That's
well,
true.
I think Britney's book was really, uh, you know, educational for us as pop music fans. I think
Yes.
it showed us a lot. We understood her a bit more about her because,
Okay.
like I told you, you can never judge a book by its cover. You never know what's going on behind closed doors.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm really grateful that we've got to read it and that we have been able to do this episode. What about you, Mao?
I want to finish saying that it was like a book with a happy ending because at the end, well, she's not. anymore with this Ashgari. I know that,
Yeah.
but I think she found happiness at the end. Like she's not under the influence of her family anymore. She's living in a good way. Like she's trying to find peace and doing the things that she enjoyed the most. So I think it's great because it's a book with a happy ending. I really hope she takes very serious the therapy and being on therapy because she needs that so much. So I found this very educational, as you said, Mariel. I'm so happy to have the opportunity to read this book because as Lucas said at the beginning, it was like being on backstage, like seeing the real perspective of what was going on at that time. Because in that moment when we were kids or teenagers, like we three, that we were kids or teenagers, we saw, even when we were fans or something like that, we saw that and we said like, oh, this woman is crazy, or oh, Britney is terrible. She's acting in a terrible way. But now we understand more why she was doing this or that. So it was great, and I really hope like she finds finally. There is a part that I want to mention that I really like, and is that part when she said like in a period of my life I stopped believing in God, but you can find a woman that knows how to pray or something like that. It was very meaningful for me because I have faith too, and it was a very precious and very beautiful part of the book because at the end of the book she um, defines that everything was about praying, and she prayed so hard, and finally God helped her. So it was a very beautiful part for me. So that's all.
Yes. Thank you, Mao. What about you, Lucas? Your closing thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with Mao and everything, and I also think this book is very inspirational for people, even uh, if you are not a fan of Britney Spears, because this book shows that everyone has some point in the life that something clicks and you know that you need to change. Like in any situation that you are living, like you have the power inside of you to stand up and say that's enough, I gotta change it. And it's something that sometimes, of course, the outside people who you admire can inspire you, but after all it's inside of you. Like the
Mm-hmm.
moment you decide I need the change, it is with you. So I think it's very inspirational. I think it was a book very easy to read because sometimes we don't have the habit to read a lot of books, but with this it was like very
Yeah,
easy
it was a book.
to read. So I think it's very good, and I think she's in her way to something really good in her life. I think the end of the book is good. She has voice now, but I think she's in the way for something even better. I think she's figuring out who she is after all those years of madness in all the ways possible.
Yes. Yes, I'm
Yeah.
I'm really happy that she's doing better now, and well, let's hope we get to hear more from her in a positive way,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yes, me
So,
too.
thank you everybody for watching this episode with us. I hope you guys have read the book. If not, please do because you're going to learn a lot from Brittany. And well, stay tuned for next episode. Have fun, everybody. Thank you, Mal. Thank you, Lucas. We will be
Thank you.
seeing you next time, guys.
Yeah, bye bye.
Bye.
Okay.